What is up, you guys? It is Zach coming at you with another video. Now today we're going to be talking more about Life is Strange Double Exposure, as we got a lot of new updates since earlier this week when the game was originally announced, and I'm going to be diving into it today, including information from that live stream we got yesterday that really gave us a good look and a good idea of what to expect with this game. So if you guys are excited for this game, definitely do drop a like and subscribe down below, and let me know in the comments what you're really thinking about this game, because I'm seeing a lot of thoughts online, because Life is Strange's story and the world it's built is very complicated. There's a lot of intricacies and nuances that I'm really interested to see if Deck 9 can capture in this game. So we're going to kind of dive into that a bit today, and without any further ado, let's get on into it. Alright, so I'm actually going to start off with some stuff that we learned since me posting that original video. Now, basically, there are different editions of the game that you can buy. There's digital editions of the game, and then there's a collector's edition with some collectibles that you can get. So, the digital editions of the game is basically all cosmetic stuff. Now, I'm fine with this. Usually cosmetic stuff always kind of irks me, but it doesn't really bother me here because it's all completely optional. If you don't want the cosmetics, you very much don't have to buy it. You're not missing out on anything. So, if you want some cool extra costumes, like a really interesting Chloe Price outfit and hairdo swap for Max, which is kind of weird Uncanny Valley thing, you can get that for some extra money, and you can also pay for 2 weeks extra access to chapters 1 and 2, which that I can see why people would be upset over, being able to play the first 2 chapters early. But I mean, if you want to play the game early, you can pay $20 more to get that access, and the game, I'm pretty certain, is like $50 out of the gate. So for $70, the regular price of a retail game, you play it a little bit early. So there's that, but there's also a collector's edition of the game that comes with some really cool stuff. It comes with like double-sided like postcard kind of things. It comes with an owl pin, which I'm guessing the owl is going to be kind of like the butterfly from the original game. It's going to be symbolic of something. And there's a really cool vinyl record that's going to have some of the game's music on it. The only unfortunate thing with this collector's edition is that the game is not included with it, and I believe the collector's edition is like $70. I could be wrong. I'll put the price on the screen, but you will have to buy the game separately, which does kind of suck. I hate when collector's editions don't come with the actual game, but, you know, it's fine. You know, overall, getting the game, if you want to get the Ultimate Edition of the game, as well as the collector's edition, it'll probably run you, estimate my guess, around $150, which for a collector's edition, I've seen worse. I mean, I've paid $300 for a certain SpongeBob games collector's edition, so, you know, completely, you know, about normal for a collector's edition. Alright, let's dive into the live stream that we saw yesterday, and there's a lot of different fan theories from this live stream that I want to go into as well. Now, starting with what we learned from it, I mean, we saw a bit of gameplay, and basically a lot of the confirmation that we got from the gameplay, and as well as the interviews, is that it is very much going to be kind of a new experience. You know, it's a new story starring Max Caulfield, but it will rely a lot on what came before, which is kind of what I wanted, because Deck 9 made it clear, because of the 2 endings in the original Life is Strange game, there's no canon ending. Either ending, no matter which you got, will be completely fine, and it doesn't really matter. It might just change some things in the story, which is what I like. And what I said about choosing which ending you got basically is true. It basically, instead of choosing in the beginning of the game, you open up and tell Safi what ending that you got, and that will just lead to conversations that you have with her. So, really, really interesting stuff, and I like this avenue because I'm fine with Max having her own adventures outside of Chloe and, you know, doing her own thing and you know, more so expanding beyond Arcadia Bay and all of that, but there has to be some acknowledgement of that past, and it does seem like this game is having a lot of acknowledgement because the events of the past are very significant. So, completely makes sense, and I'm really, really excited to see where this narrative goes and how much this game does tie in to the original Life is Strange. The interview didn't really give us too much tangible information, just kind of reassured the points that we already knew. So the one big thing they talked about in this interview was kind of how the gameplay worked, because it does kind of remind me of kind of a mix of the original game as well as True Colors, where you're basically using your senses in the world around you to solve puzzles. Kind of like Alex's mood sensing ability. You have to use it to kind of sense how people were feeling around you. But you use this ability to listen in to what people from the other dimension or other universe, whatever, you're listening to what they're saying. So it's really useful to use this in times where maybe you're in an area where it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people, but if you switch to the other dimension, there actually are some people and they're saying some stuff that's kind of useful to you. And you can also use this ability to do things like solve puzzles in terms of like opening locked doors and all that. It reminds me kind of the chapter from the first Life is Strange when Max and Chloe are breaking into Blackwell Academy and you have to use Max's abilities to open a door and to solve certain puzzles in the school. That's kind of giving me those vibes, which I really, really like. And I'm excited to see what they do in terms of the puzzle solving here, because it could be really, really interesting, because it is a different power. And I know some people are kind of confused why Max wouldn't have the same power, but just as she's matured and evolved past what she was in high school, her power might have as well. Now she can travel between freaking dimensions. I mean, she was able to do that in the original game for a chapter. If you know, you know. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that this is her main power. So we'll have to really wait and see what this power can really do and what the consequences are for this power. Moving on to the gameplay segment, this is where we really got a juicy amount of information, where we actually saw proper full gameplay. And first of all, I'm sold on the two supporting characters, being Safi and Moses, I believe their names are. I like them. I like the chemistry between them. Obviously, the dynamic between Max and Chloe is otherworldly, and like, they are a dynamic duo. But I do like this trio, and I really hope that they do some interesting things, especially going back to the original interview. Moses is, going to be obviously a main character in this game. Apparently, his relationship with Max is different between dimensions. So, like, one dimension, he's really friendly with Max, and they're very close. But in the other dimension, he's very defensive, very, combative against her. So I'm really interested to see how you can build their relationship in both dimensions. It's going to be really interesting to see. Anyways, though, the gameplay looks freaking good. It got the same puzzle solving that you're used to with Life is Strange. It very much looks like Life is Strange. There's not much really to comment on here. But, like I've said before, the animations in the game is absolutely beautiful. I love the scenery, I love the music, I love the character models, the animations, everything just looks so polished and so well done, and the motion capture really captures the emotions that these characters are conveying really freaking well, in my opinion. With the gameplay, we basically saw, I'm guessing, is the latter portion of the first chapter, where Safi dies, and kind of the build up to that. And there's a lot of interesting things that we're seeing here, with the fact that she's a writer, she writes poems, and she's actually gotten a deal, and then she got murdered. Obviously, someone wants her dead, because the whole point is that she's in danger in both dimensions, being that this murder, obviously, was very much intentional and very much targeted towards her. So I'm really interested to see how her narrative deepens and what more there is to Safi. I'm really intrigued by her character. I like her personality. She kind of reminds me of Chloe in the way to where she's pretty abrasive, she's confident, she's upfront, she's no nonsense, it seems, but she's not over the top like Chloe can be sometimes. I feel like there's going to be a lot to this story, and people are drawing up a lot of conclusions based on this little bit of information we've been given, and if you're a fan of Life is Strange, I have to just kind of be patient and wait it out, because obviously we're going to learn more as time goes on and when we actually get our hands on the game. Alright, let's talk some speculation, because there's a lot to speculate on. There's three main things that I really want to talk about. Now, firstly, this one is really, really weird. If you go onto IMDb, I think that's the the abbreviation, whatever. If you go on there, you look at Life is Strange Double Exposure, and you look at the cast, you see Hannah Teller's Max Caulfield, but you do see another familiar name. The actor's name was like Cameron something, but he played Eliot, and Eliot, if you remember, he was from the Before the Storm DLC. Now, forgive me, my memory's a little bit shaky on the Before the Storm DLC, but from what I remember, he was the love interest of Rachel. Or, I mean, he had unrequited love for Rachel. Oh my god, no, not Rachel. Chloe. And at the end of the game, at the end of that, expansion, he basically confronts Chloe about not reciprocating feelings from him, and basically threatens to out that she is breaking into Rachel Amber's father's office, and he ends up kind of being an enemy.
Quick little note, I'm also seeing on IMDb the voice actor for Mark Jefferson also just got put on here, but the voice actor for Eliot got taken down, so I don't know if that means there's some swapping going around. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, some weird stuff going on here.
So I wonder if this was just a typo, or if he actually plays a role in this game. Maybe he's that detective that has some sort of vendetta against Max, because if Max and Chloe were super, super close and Eliot knew this, maybe he has some vendetta against Max as well, and that leads to some issues there. That'd be really interesting to see, because Eliot and Max, obviously, since Eliot was from the Before the Storm DLC, he never interacted with Max. So it'd be really, really interesting to see that dynamic and see what happens if this ends up being true. And that leads to another question. Well, if he's coming back, if this is a character we're going to see again, what other characters could we possibly see again? I mean, this game takes place in Vermont, I think they said, instead of Washington, so all the way across the country, so, the returning character list is probably pretty small, but there's some possibilities, of some potential characters coming back, maybe having a vengeance against Max, maybe Sophie was killed because it was someone with a vendetta against Max. I don't know, there's a lot of potential possibilities here. Speaking of returning characters, this one's kind of a fan theory that's going around that I've seen. Rachel Amber. Rachel Amber was a character from also the Before the Storm DLC. We're getting a lot of Before the Storm love here. Also, Rachel Amber was a big part of the main game as well, being the person who's disappeared, that Chloe was really upset about, she was a big thing there, but her presence was mainly in Before the Storm, as she was alive and well in that story. And the character that fans are speculating is Rachel Amber. She looks like her, she sounds like her, but there's no confirmation that is Rachel Amber. So fans are mainly just speculating on if this is Rachel Amber. I'm 50-50 on it, because Rachel Amber's dead. What universe would Rachel Amber be alive in? She was dead, no matter what ending you chose in the original game. She died, it would kind of be weird if they brought her back to life. Now, there is the whole question of, well, if they're shifting universes, it could be a universe where she's alive, but then what is she doing at a college up in Vermont? There's a lot of questions if that is Rachel Amber. I'm gonna personally, to be on the safe side, lean towards, no, this isn't Rachel Amber. But the thing is with Life is Strange, it is strange, and it's a game that messes with time. So, I guess it's possible? And then the last thing, which is kind of a big question for me, obviously, as we learned in Life is Strange 2, Chloe and Max went on the road together. If you save Chloe instead of Arcadia Bay, they go on the road together. And I wonder what ends up happening with them if, with this story, right? Because now Max is in a college in Vermont, and I'm assuming Chloe is back on the West Coast. So did they, break up? Did they fall out? Did they just stop going around together? I mean, Max did mention something about her doing freelance and then was offered this opportunity. So, it's completely possible that Max just took up an opportunity that she couldn't refuse, and that meant having to leave Chloe behind, even if it's just for a few months or whatever. I think people are reading a little too much into this, because a lot of people are upset. They're like, oh my god, Chloe and Max broke up? And it's we don't know that, technically. It's just something we haven't seen yet. So people are freaking out over something that we don't know the full context of, that we haven't seen. So, if you're mad about Chloe and Max breaking up, just hold your horses, wait on that, because since there is no canon ending of the original game, and this game takes that into account, so Chloe is alive in this game, like, she can be alive, Chloe has the potential to return. Chloe has the very high potential of showing up. And I think Chloe would be a great return for, obviously, if you choose the sacrificing Arcadia Bay ending. If, you know, Max discovers she has these powers and needs to solve this mystery, having her invite Chloe out to Vermont to help her, I think would be very, very cool. I don't think that's going to happen, but it would be very, very cool. We do get the glimpse of Chloe in this photograph, which I do think hints that Chloe will return in some form of fashion. Whether it's just a flashback sequence, right? They could very easily do a flashback sequence, kind of like with what they've done with the original Life is Strange, where it takes you back to Arcadia Bay or around there for a segment of the game and Chloe is there. Very highly possible. But I don't think she's going to be an integral part of the gameplay. I don't think Chloe is going to be around for the whole entire game. And like I said, I don't really mind that too much. Like I said, as long as the reason that they're apart and the reason that they're separated is at least addressed, which is what it seems like this game is doing, because Safi mentions Chloe, the blue-haired chick that's photos in your wallet. You know, that little line, obviously he's referring to Chloe. Like, it's going to be addressed, so I think it's going to be fine. I have no real problem with it. Overall, you guys, I'm really excited for this game. I'm really excited to see where this story is going to go. And a lot of people said that they should have just ended Max's story with the original Life is Strange. And I completely understand why, right? It was tied up with a nice little bow with the farewell chapter, you know, which is ironically the earliest part of the original Life is Strange story. But I feel like if Max as a character is very interesting. I love Max as a character. I think she's a great protagonist. And I feel like doing more with her and exploring her powers a little bit more, because in the old game, all she could do was just rewind time a little bit. Like, if she has a time power inside her that can evolve over time, there is stuff that you can do with that. And I'm not saying every single Life is Strange game should star Max Caulfield, or that she should, you know, have games every single year. But I do think having a identifiable protagonist that comes around and is a key part of your series isn't necessarily a bad thing. Max Caulfield is very recognizable. She's a great character, heavily relatable, and most people genuinely like her. So I'm happy that they brought Max Caulfield back, and I'm happy that they're doing more with her, and I seriously cannot wait for this game. So, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments down below. I would truly love to hear what you all have to say. And if you enjoyed this video, of course, hit that subscribe button down below and click that notification bell so you can be notified of when I upload videos. And until next time, you guys, I will see you all in the next video.